Hello students, today we will learn about the addressing modes in 8085 microprocessor. So what is addressing modes? Uh, as you know that microprocessor CPU perform many instructions, many operations. So whenever microprocessor perform any operation, obviously it will perform those instructions or operations on a specific data or a particular data, and that location of data is important here, that where the data is available, whether it is inside CPU or it is available in memory location. So it takes an effort to CPU to access that data to perform the operation. So it is important to understand that where the data is stored, right? So let's review this instruction in microprocessor in 8085. They perform some task like mnemonics, which specifies the operation of any instruction. So for example, if we have an instruction like MOV A comma B, so this is a instruction available in 8085 microprocessor. So this part of the instruction is called mnemonic, and these two are the registers where the data transfer will take place from B to A. So these two will be known as operand. The operands are the variable or the data which participate in the operation. So mnemonic specifies the operation which CPU is going to perform, right? And microprocessor has these instruction where every instruction has its own opcode, as we know, right? So this instruction is having a mnemonic which is performing a operation of moving data from one register to another register. So this is what instruction specifies. Next one, the existence or the location of the data or the operand which is participating in this operation. So here you can see there are two operands A and B. In this case the data inside the B register is transferring into A register, right? So where does our data exist? It is existing in a register, in a general purpose register, a B register, right? So this instruction is also specifying that where the data is available, right? Next one, the result or the operations existence. So after moving this data from B to A, so where will be the data exist after the operation? Inside the A register. So instruction specifies number one, the mnemonic, number two, where the data exists which is going to participate in this instruction, and number three, where the result is going to be loaded or stored in A register in this case. So these are the three things which is specified by one particular instruction, right? So what does the addressing mode do? As it is written here, addressing mode specifies the accessibility or the existence of operand in a particular instruction. Meaning, if a CPU is going to execute a particular instruction, so obviously it is going to perform any operation or a data. So where does that data exist, right? So that shows the accessibility, because CPU need to fetch the data wherever it exists and then perform the operation. So fetching the data or accessing the data is an effort. It is an effort to be made by the microprocessor. That is why it is important to know that how CPU is accessing this data which is going to participate in the operation, which is called operand, right? So addressing mode specifies the accessibility or the existence of operand or the data which is going to participate in an operation which is specified by the instruction. Okay, each instruction in 8085 microprocessor has its own addressing mode. So every instruction will be having its own one addressing mode. Okay, addressing modes are the data accessibility facility provided by programmer according to the architecture design. Obviously it is depending upon the architecture. So when that architecture is designed of a CPU, the facilities are provided to the programmer, that how programmer can access those operands or the data which is going to participate in the operation. So it is depending upon the architectural design, right? So addressing mode can be decided while designing the architecture of any processor. Okay, so we can say that, like, if there are more accessibility or more facilities provided to the programmer, then it will have many addressing modes, because there are many facilities or accessibilities are provided. Suppose if I want to fetch any data and perform any operation, if the data can exist in a CPU register, that is one accessibility, and if it can exist in memory also, in internal memory, that is second accessibility, and if it can exist in external memory, then this is the third accessibility. So if instruction is available to perform all these three accessibilities over the data, to fetch these data from various different locations, so we can say there are many addressing modes are available for one particular type of instruction, right? So this is how addressing modes are defined at the time of defining the architecture. So in 8085 there are only 5 addressing modes. Number 1 is the register addressing mode, number 2 is immediate addressing mode, number 3 direct addressing mode, number 4 indirect addressing mode, number 5 implicit addressing mode. This particular addressing mode, I have written pointer over here. So this is quite familiar. You must have understood or learned about the pointers in C or C++. So we'll see in detail how this addressing modes can be identified for a particular instruction. In many examinations and interviews, these types of questions are being asked, that a particular instruction can perform any operation and what type of addressing mode does it have, right? So it is important to understand the addressing modes. Number 1 is the register addressing mode. It is quite simple to understand or identify this type of addressing mode. So in this, it specifies the accessibility of participating data or the operand in general purpose register. So if the accessibility of a particular data in an instruction is specified through a particular register, so like in this example, move a comma b, the data which is available in B register will be loaded into A register, right? So this is simply a copy and paste operation. So the data which is going to participate is available in B register, right? So that is why we call this register addressing mode, because our data which is participating in the instruction or in the operation is available in a particular register, a B register. That is why it is called register addressing mode. In next example, add D. So in add D, the operation will be performed as A plus D and result will be loaded in accumulator. So there are two operands in this instruction. One operand or one data must be available in accumulator, which is fixed, and another one is existing in a particular register, a D register. So this is a fixed operand which we cannot change, programmer cannot change. Programmer has to keep one data in accumulator, but another data can exist in a register, whether D or whether B register or C register. So such type of instruction will have register addressing mode, because programmer can have this particular data, a second operand, in a register. So if this data exists in a register, again the mode of this instruction is register addressing mode. Here in this example, INRC, which is an increment instruction, INRC. So INRC will perform the operation of C plus 1, and then result goes to C itself. So whatever the data available in C register, suppose C has 2 1. So after executing this instruction, the data will be available in C will become 2 2, right? So it will be incremented by 1. So what is the data available here? The data is available in C register, that is 2 1, which is incremented and become 2 2. So result, the data is available in C register, which is a register. That is why this addressing mode is a register addressing mode, and then after the operation, the result will be available in C register itself, right? So this is why, because the data is available in a register, we call this mode as an register addressing mode, right? Coming next to the another addressing mode is immediate addressing mode. So here the data which is participating will exist right next to the opcode, right, or immediately after the operand, immediately to the operand. So here in this example, MVI B, 2F, 2F is the data, 2F is a particular data which is going to be loaded in B register. So after the execution, B register will have 2F, right? So in this instruction MVI B, 2F, I am going to load this particular data in B register, and it will be loaded. So if I used to specify, if I am going to write the data which is participating right next to the opcode, so the opcode is this one, this will have an opcode. So I am going to write an data which is called immediate data right after the opcode. So such type of instructions are called, or to have an immediate addressing mode. Similarly here in LXIH, this LXIH is an instruction which is going to load HL pair, and the data will be 20 and BC. So the data which is going to take part in the instruction or in this operation, if it is directly written in the instruction, if you can directly see that particular data which is participating, then it is an immediate addressing mode. So here in this example, ADI4E, ADI4E instruction will perform A plus 4E, and then result goes to accumulator. So this is the data which is getting added in this accumulator, right? And you can see this data in the instruction. That is why this instruction is called again immediate addressing mode. Next one is the direct addressing mode. Now in this type of mode, an instruction will have the address of the data which is going to participate in the operation. So LDA is the instruction which is going to load an accumulator, and the data is available at this particular location. So I don't know what is the data. Data may be anything, X or X, it could be anything. I don't know what is the data, but I know the address of the data, 5F00. So if in an instruction, if I am writing the direct address of the data which is going to load in accumulator, then such type of instructions have a direct addressing mode. So as the name suggests, direct, so I am going to write a direct address of the data which is going to participate in this operation. Similarly here IN4F, IN is a input output related instruction where 4F is a port address, and I don't know what is the data available at this particular port. So we are only specifying this port address. So whatever the data available at this port address will be loaded into accumulator. This is what IN4F will perform. So I don't know what is the data, but I know the direct address of the data which is written directly in the instruction. So again, this is a direct addressing mode, right? Similarly with the LHLD also, it is going to load HL pair with data available at 90D0 and 90D1 location, and I don't know what is the data, but I know the direct address of the data. So these are the instructions will have direct addressing mode. Coming next is the indirect addressing mode. So here what an instruction will have a indirect address written in a particular register. So here we'll take this example LDAXB. So what does this instruction is going to perform? It is going to load accumulator through BC pair. You must be knowing that whenever we write any instruction, and if it has X in mnemonic, so the register which is written here, it is not going to be alone. It will have it will be used as a pair. So B is not alone here. B is working together with C in this instruction, BC as a pair. So we are going to load accumulator, right? So some data will be loaded in accumulator, but where does the data exist? Data will exist at some memory location, suppose 2090H. So data is available here, and I don't know what is the data, right? So this is the data which is going to loaded into accumulator, and I don't know what is the data, and the address of this data 2090 will be available here. So if a BC pair have 2090, and if I write LDAXB, so what does this instruction is going to do? It will load accumulator, right? It will load accumulator with the data which is written over a memory location, and that location will be available in BC register, or the location is written in BC register. So BC register is having the address of the data, which is participating in this operation or loading into the accumulator. So here I am specifying a register which is working as a pointer, right? Which is working as a pointer. So this particular register is having the address of a data, and that data is loaded into the accumulator. That is why such instructions are having indirect addressing mode, because we are specifying the address indirectly in these instructions. Similarly, move a, m. So it is going to load a data from memory into accumulator. Now what does m specifies? M specifies memory pointed by HL pair. So HL pair will have some address, suppose 309E. So 309E will be considered as a address, and whatever the data available at this particular address will be loaded into accumulator. So this is what move a, m is going to perform. So m specifies the memory pointed by HL pair. So HL pair will have the address of the data which is loading into accumulator. That is why this instruction is having indirect addressing mode. Similarly with INR M also. Coming next to another addressing mode is implicit addressing mode or implied addressing mode. Both have a similar meaning. So in this type of addressing mode, the instruction specifies the operand and the result of that operation will be loaded into that particular location of the data from where we are fetching this data. Such instructions are having implicit addressing mode. For example, CMA is the instruction which performs the complement of accumulator, or we can say ones complement of an accumulator. So accumulator will be having some data, suppose 10 10 11 10. This is the 8-bit data available in accumulator. So CMA will perform the ones complement of this particular data. So what will be the result after ones complement? 0 1 0 1 0 0 0 1. So this is the ones complement of the data available in accumulator. So the data is available in accumulator, right, and we are not writing any operand in this instruction, right. So the data is available in a register, and that register is available or specified through the mnemonic of the instruction, and then result after this operation will be available in accumulator in itself. So complementing an accumulator's data or 8-bit data will have the result in accumulator itself. So such instruction will have implicit addressing mode, where we do not specify any operand, or we can say the operand is written or available in the mnemonic itself, like instruction move A, B. So these are the operands which is written after the mnemonics, but here we are only writing mnemonic, and the register which is participating, or the operand which is participating, is written implicitly in this operand. So such instructions are called implicit addressing mode, because operand is implicitly written in mnemonic itself. Similarly with RAR instruction, RAR is an instruction which rotate accumulator right. So this instruction will be rotating the data in accumulator to the right, to the one position right, with a carry. So again this is the operation performed on accumulator, and we are not writing any operand after mnemonic. So mnemonic is the register is specified in the mnemonic itself. So such instructions are implicit. Similarly with CMC, CMC is a complement carry, STC is a set carry. So these are the operations performed on carry flag bit particularly, and the carry flag bit is specified in mnemonic itself. That is why these instructions are having implicit addressing mode. There are some confusing addressing modes of instructions which generally students feel difficult to identify. So we'll quickly have a review about it. This particular instruction JMP 20F0H is having immediate addressing mode. Why this is called immediate addressing mode? Try to understand the operation of the instruction, then only you will be able to identify the addressing mode. So JMP instruction is going to load program counter with 20F0H. So here we are specifying a address where we want to jump, but this address is loaded into program counter. So this particular data which is participating in the operation. So what is the operation performed by this particular jump instruction? This jump instruction loads the program counter, it is going to load the program counter with the address which is written in instruction. And we have understood, we have seen that whenever the data which is participating is written right next to the mnemonic, and such instruction will have an immediate addressing mode, right? So that is the reason why this instruction is having immediate addressing mode. Similarly with the call instruction also, because call is similar to the jump, call also loads the program counter with 20FF. So this call is going to load program counter with 20FF, and 20FF is visible in the instruction itself. That is why we call this as the immediate addressing mode. Another one is the RET instruction. So what does RET instruction perform? So RET instruction is going to retrieve the top 2 content of stack, right? So stack pointer will have the address of these data which is going to be retrieved and loaded into program counter. So SP will have the address from where we are going to fetch the data and loading into the program counter. So we have the address of the data, and what is the data here? These 2 data is going to be loaded into program counter. So what does the exact operation performed by RET instruction? RET instruction load the program counter with a particular address or a data which is available in stack. And how does CPU access this data? Through this stack pointer. So this particular address will be available in stack pointer. So that is the reason this instruction is having indirect addressing mode, because CPU is accessing the data and loading it into program counter, and CPU does not know what is the data, but CPU know the address of the data, and that address is available in stack pointer. So CPU is accessing stack pointer as an pointer, right? Another instruction is PCHL and SPHL. These instructions are loading. PCHL is going to load HL pairs data into program counter. So this is a register to register transfer, and we are specifying, we are using this instruction as in accessibility of register. So this is the particular data which is accessed by the CPU and loaded into a particular register. That is the reason why this is register addressing mode. Similarly with the SPHL load the data of HL into stack pointer. Another instruction is XTHL, which is an exchange top of the stack with HL pair. So the data will be loaded into HL pair from where? From stack, right? And how does stack can be accessed? Stack can be accessed with the help of stack pointer. So CPU is going to access the address of the data, and the data is going to load into HL pair. And how this data is accessed? Through this address, and that address is available in stack pointer. That is why this mode is indirect addressing mode. There are 2 instructions. NOP is a no operation which consume 4 T states, and HLT is an instruction which stops the execution, which does not consume any particular specified T states. And point to be noted here, these instructions do not perform any data operations. They are not going to perform any data operation. just like the other instruction STHL, PCHL, RET or call or jump. All these instructions are doing some particular operation over a data. They are loading program counter. This is also loading program counter with a specific 16-bit data. Return is also retrieving top 2 bytes from stack into the program counter. So all instructions are accessing some data, so they are doing some data operations, but NOP and HLT is not doing any data operations. That is the reason these instructions do not have any addressing modes, because addressing modes are defined for accessibility of data, accessibility of operands, but these two instructions are not accessing any data. That is the reason they do not have any addressing mode. So I hope you have understood the concept of addressing modes, right? So there in 8085 microprocessor there are 5 addressing mode: register, immediate, direct, indirect and implicit. Don't forget the definition of the addressing mode. Addressing mode specifies the accessibility of operand in a particular instruction. So this is how you can identify the addressing modes of various instructions, right? I hope you will not feel any difficulty now to identify the addressing mode of any instruction. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for patience listening.